All right. So I want to talk about Donald Trump's power grab in a turn to authoritarianism for the country, because Project 2025 was always the plan. He's been talking about it for a very long time behind closed doors, and he has let it slip every once in a while. And into the general public, he's tried to lie and say, I know nothing about Project 2025. And here we are. Here we go. This is by Yahoo News. Donald Trump's incoming administration officials have begun interrogating White House national security staff about their potential loyalty or disloyalty to the president-elect, according to a Monday report from Associated Press. One U.S. official familiar with the questioning said that staff members affiliated with the White House National Security Council have been questioned regarding who they voted for in November's election, their social media use, and their history of political donations. Now, these people, by the way, aren't political agents. These people are just civil servants who are hired to do particular jobs within the government to make sure everything is functioning correct. These are people who make sure your food is safe. These are people who make sure the drugs are safe. These are people who make sure your water isn't infested, disaster responses, the environment, all of that stuff. So these aren't political people. These are people just doing like basic functioning jobs. And now Donald Trump wants to make sure, when you're being hired, it's not by if you're good at your job. It's about, can you kiss the ring? Can you do it properly? Can you lick them up, suck them up, and do all that important stuff? Well, important to him, not really important to anybody else who's serious, but important to people like Donald Trump. And this has been a part of Project 2025 for a very long time. It is the Schedule F that news organizations have been talking about. And it has kind of dissipated because Donald Trump has completely gotten away with it, to the point where right after the election was won by Donald Trump, you had some of his allies go on Twitter or, X, and joke about how, Matt Walsh, now that the election is over, I think we can finally say that, yeah, Project 2025 is the agenda. You had Benny Johnson, who is saying, it is my honor to inform you that Project 2025 was real the entire time. Now, they say it jokingly because everything is always a joke with these people until it's not a joke. And you can even go back to even Kilgore, the guy who responded under Matt Walsh. Women back to the kitchen, abortion's illegal, gays back in the closet, interracial marriage banned, illegals pack your bags. And everything is a joke here until you realize what they're saying isn't really a joke. I mean, one of their pet projects was to make abortions illegal. Okay. Roe v. Wade has been completely gutted. We have all these different red states that has effectively cut abortion to the point where you can't even really get one, or just outright banned it. And this has already resulted in women dying, women bleeding out in bathtubs, women being forced to give birth to children with their skulls half missing. It's just been absolutely disastrous. So whenever they do all of these memes on social media, they actually mean what they say, and they are trying to do it, which brings me back to Donald Trump when he was talking about Schedule F, which was deeply detailed in Project 2025. And he's been talking about it nonstop because he wants loyalty and not much else. And here we go to his Truth Social. As of today, the incoming Trump administration has hired 1,000 people for the U.S. government. They are outstanding in every way, and you will see the fruits of their labor over the coming years. We will make America great again, and it will happen very quickly. In order to save time, money, and effort, it will be helpful if you would not send or recommend us people who have worked with or endorsed by Americans for no prosperity, headed by Charles Koch. Dumb as a Rock, John Bolton, Birdbrain, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, disloyal warmongers, Dick Cheney and his psycho daughter Liz, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, General Mark Milley, James Mattis, Mark Esper, or any of the people suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, more commonly known as TDS. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And what he means by this is anybody who's ever really opposed him in any way, don't join you. You can't be a part of this administration. You can't even be a part of a civil servant, because he doesn't care about if you can do your job. He wants to know that you are completely loyal to him. Have you kissed the ring yet? And that is why we're seeing more and more people do that. You saw billionaires such as Mark Zuckerberg, such as Jeff Bezos, completely bend over backwards for him. They completely kissed the ring. They did. They stuck their ass out and said, here I am. They wiggled it right in front of Donald Trump so he can go ahead and get a good grab of it. And that has been what's going on. And it's only going to get worse as time goes on, because there's not going to be an adult in the room, which is a scary thought, because you have people like Tom Homan, you have people like Russell Vought, who were big members of Project 2025, and they are now going to be in his administration if they get the clearance to do that. And it looks like they very well might. And they're going to do disastrous stuff. They have an entire plan laid out to see how much they can gut the administrative state, which isn't going to be good for anybody. And they're already talking about doing dumb stuff like privatizing the USPS. Now, the USPS, of course, is not a private institution. It is not a private service, and it doesn't need to be, because the USPS is one of the only mail services that delivers to everybody in America. So if you are in the middle of, I don't know, nowhere, Mississippi, you can still get your medication if you are a rural grandma. So if this goes private, then your rural grandma might not get her medication, because now they are seeking to look a profit, and they might not decide. Well, they might decide, well, you are like way out here in the middle of nowhere, because your house takes like an hour to get to, and there's nobody in like 300 miles. So screw you. You're not going to get the medication. And now your grandma is probably going to be in a lot of trouble. This is just part of Trump's authoritarian agenda. Right now, they have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency, of course, but they also have the media, because Fox News is the largest, the most watched television news network. Never let Republicans tell you that they don't absolutely dominate the media environment. They do. Nobody's watching CNN. Nobody's watching MSNBC right now. The ratings are in the dumpster. It's a complete dumpster fire over there. So they have the media. They have the social media platforms, because Elon Musk, who has essentially bought out Donald Trump, owns Twitter, X. You have Mark Zuckerberg, who has completely capitulated to MAGA entirely. He owns Facebook. And you have all these other different social media groups, or all these online groups, I should say, such as Turning Point USA with Charles Kirkland Jr., as I like to call him, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro with the Daily Wire, who is getting billionaire money as well. So never let them try to pretend like they are the oppressed minority, when they absolutely dominate right now in almost every front in terms of politics and in terms of the narrative. And it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. And there's no telling what this administration does. Either Donald Trump could go in and be so incompetent that nothing gets done, which could actually be the good ending, or we could get the bad ending where the people who are actually running the show, the smart people who know what they're doing, the people like Russell Vought, Tom Homan, they go in and they do disastrous things for the country, because they are definitely not working in the interest of the average person, because Donald Trump has more billionaires in his administration than ever before. So who are they going to work for? Of course, other billionaires. Donald Trump has already admitted so himself. He said that he needs to make the lives like people like Elon Musk, the smart people, as he likes to call them, make their lives a lot better. So this is where we are heading to. So you're getting a first look at Donald Trump's authoritarianism right here.